and welcome to the Classically Chloe Show. I'm your host, Chloe Castillo, and I'm so excited for you guys to be here with me today. I have a very special guest coming on, a friend of mine and an amazing conservative and patriotic musician who I can't wait for you guys to meet. First, I want to look at his music video. One of his newest songs out is just absolutely amazing. It's called What You Think of Me. Absolutely a beautiful song, quite a tearjerker actually, and just I think really fitting for the times that we're in America right now. There's not a lot of appreciation for those who serve our country, and I think that it's time we bring that kind of patriotism back, especially to the music industry. And so I'm so excited for you guys to hear the song, for you guys to hear some of Ryan's music, and meet him too. We have Ryan Weaver coming on in just a couple minutes, and so let's go ahead and roll the video.
Lying awake, I toss and turn, just trying to sleep. Praying to God you're up there somewhere thinking of me. Thoughts are burning, lost in yearning for your company. It's a daily fight not to lose my mind, that's how it's gonna be. I'm strong enough to keep my heart from breaking into a million parts without you. So I take the pain and I push it down, even though it hurts like the day I found out you were gone. You were gone, and it still seems like yesterday we were high up in that live oak tree. Blue skies above, the world at our feet, and I followed you, you were everything. Now I wonder what you think of me.
Go ahead and pause the video.
Well,
I absolutely love this song. It's just so beautiful, and just I love the emotion and I love how genuine this is. And so I'd like to go ahead and bring in Ryan Weaver. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate you bringing me on today.
So good to see you. So Ryan, tell me about this video. What inspired it? What was the process like writing the music video, writing the lyrics to this song? It's just absolutely beautiful. I know it has a backstory with your brothers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We wrote it in my living room. Craig Wilson, who passed a couple years ago as well, and I wrote it on my living room couch, and it's the only song that I've ever written and actually recorded a YouTube video and posted it immediately. So if folks want to see the music video, you can also go on YouTube or at ryanweaver.net and see my when it was actually written, which is something, like I said, never do because people steal your ideas. But I had a feeling based off of it being the 10th anniversary of my brother dying in Iraq. We wrote it in 2014. And the song sat for a bit because I was touring with professional bull riders in their arenas for the Celebrate America tour. They brought me on board from Madison Square Garden to AT&T Stadium, the biggest arenas. But we had a song that they were using in there called Never Forgotten in a tribute music video. So I didn't want to step on the toes of a song that I wrote in honor of my brother, because the song is about my brother. He was killed in Iraq on January 8th in 2004. And the music video took us a while to get funded. As you can see, you had Dean Sams, he was the founding member of Lone Star. He's the keyboard player for Lone Star. He produced the song and is also starring in the video with me, playing on that grand piano. I'm sure you appreciate it. But
Yeah, I do.
legitimate. He's such a great guy. He was so incredible to work with, and he absolutely loves our military, loves this country, and is an awesome human being. But it was also cool to have one of my all-time favorite band's members, a member of that band, in my music video and producing for me up here in Nashville. So it's pretty incredible to put it out.
I love it. I really truly love that song. Ryan has some fantastic music out there. So what's the process like when you write these songs? Do you get inspiration for the songs from life events mostly, or is it sometimes like what's I guess your most common inspiration for your patriotic music? Is it the fight for America? What's going through your mind when you write these kind of songs?
Well, I think that most of the patriotic songs that I do really honor our heroes as they should be honored, because we're in a time and a day and age in our country where our heroes are being vilified as opposed to lifted up, and we need to continue to lift them up. They're willing to run towards danger when others will run away, and I think that's lost on a lot of people until they need them, of course, and then it's not lost on them. But I don't forget the day that my brother died. Every single day that I wake up in the morning, I don't forget the day my brother-in-law Randy died in Afghanistan as well, and we became a two-time Gold Star family. And I always made a promise to myself whenever I got on stage that I would never forget anybody, or excuse me, let anyone forget their sacrifices, and that I would continue to honor them in my music career. Not all of my music is patriotic. I do have some rock and just regular stuff, but the patriotic vein that I have that goes all the way from my head to my heart is always filled with love for our heroes, and I'll always continue to lift them up.
So, what do you think about all the anti-Americanism in the music industry today?
I don't understand it in Nashville, quite honestly. Nashville country music, they were known, or the music industry was known for being a conservative industry, and it has completely changed. But then again, a lot of folks don't realize that the record labels in Nashville are owned by New York City and Los Angeles. So a lot of the music that you're seeing getting put out there is pushing narratives that I don't necessarily agree with. And quite honestly, I keep my nose to the grindstone. I continue to drive forward in the message that I want to put out there. And if others want to put it out there, I fought for the freedoms for people to express themselves in whatever way. And I try not to criticize other artists, no matter what they're saying, just simply because they could come and criticize me for my music just the same. And I don't, our Constitution's there for a reason. So kudos to them for singing about what they believe in. Doesn't necessarily meet the same viewpoint that I have.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the conservative movement a little bit. So, like you said, we're in America. It's a free country. You can sing about whatever you want to sing about, and who's going to support you is who's going to support you. If you have an audience you have music that appeals to certain people, then good for you. There's no, bashing either way. It's kind of unnecessary. But what do you think about the conservative movement? I feel like they really accept the left's culture into their movement quite a lot. What would you like to see the conservative movement as a whole do to embrace artists such as yourself and so many others who have patriotic and not just patriotic, but like you said, just rock and roll or pop or country, whatever kind of genre it is, just good music? What would you like to see them do to pull it into the movement more?
Well, I think they need to look at the trends of what happens every time somebody puts out a conservative country music song. I mean, if you look at it, it doesn't take a whole lot of money anymore to do it as far as the charts are concerned, and putting music videos out there that have great messages in them, that are great examples for our younger generations to watch. But every single time it seems that a country music song comes out that's conservative, it goes to the top of the charts. And as far as the industry is concerned, a lot of folks don't realize that the music industry is not about how much you love your, singing music as an artist, or that you love to write things that matter to you. It's all about money. The music industry is a business, and a lot of folks don't look at it that way. Having said that, the record labels could really take a page out of the conservative playbook and realize that all these songs that don't require record labels, that don't require a ton of money behind them, are making it to the top of the charts. And if they want to continue making money, the narratives can only be pushed so far, and they can only be pushed to so many people. And they're going to start seeing that whenever that becomes all too prevalent, or way too prevalent in this industry. So.
Absolutely. So, I mean, just think about it for a minute here. Imagine all those songs that just like, Jason Aldean's tried that in a small town. Oliver Anthony's song that went viral, I think it was like a year ago or so. All these kind of songs that just kind of pop up and just hit the top of the charts like crazy. People love them. Imagine if this kind of music was actually being funded at a high level. I mean, can you imagine how incredible that would be? I mean, I would imagine that there's quite an audience for it. I would think at least half of America is interested in these kind of values and wants this kind of music and this kind of culture to be brought to them and to be made more mainstream. So just imagine for a minute how fantastic that would be if the conservative movement, and of course beyond the conservative movement, especially starting with the conservative movement, if we could just bring this kind of music to the forefront of our culture. I think it would have a massive impact. And so, Ryan, what do you think about the youth? The youth of America, we consume the most degenerate music possible. I mean, it's disgusting. My last show with Alex Stone, we looked at some of the demonic influences in the music industry. We got Doja Cat. We talked about Sam Smith and Jojo Siwa. I mean, there's so many. I can just list them all day long. So the youth of America is consuming music with absolutely disgusting, degenerate values, and that's just a fact. And so, what do you think we can do, musicians like yourself and so many others? What can we do to make sure that the youth of America is consuming something with better values, values that's going to lift them up, and eventually bring more conservative values to American culture and to our society as a whole?
I think that a lot of artists are worried about being canceled. They're worried about not being able to keep their career in country music or any kind of music genre for that matter. They're worried about losing everything that they fought or that they have grinded to get to, because a lot of these artists out there, genuinely speaking, have grinded from the small bar scene to the club scene to the festival scene, gotten a record deal, had hits on the radio, and that lifestyle and their message and what they want to do with their music. And mine's a little bit more country music, obviously specific when I'm talking about these things. A lot of folks don't want to be canceled, but then you get to the point where how much of your integrity and your character do you want to lose when it comes to falling in with the narrative? And here's the other thing that I just really don't understand. When you have good, wholesome lyrics, when you have good, wholesome messages, why would you not want that on the radio? Why would you not want that influencing the youth? Why would you not want that to be the next thing that our younger generations are listening to, instead of stuff that, genuinely speaking, if you look at what happened, I mean, that causes children to think a way that is not productive to their mental health, that's not productive to their contribution to society. Sure, there are fun songs that are out there, but putting disgusting, nasty stuff out there for kids to try to relate to, it's teaching them the wrong way to live their lives. And I think that if more people would be willing to speak up, more people would be consistent with their messages and not worry about being canceled, find a way to do it. I mean, I've never had a formal record deal, and I did 28 arenas in 18 and 19, and then got sent to Australia in 2021. I've been able to do this on my own as a partner brand with my own cowboy boots on and Boot Barn and the shelves in downtown Broadway, independent artists doing all this. If I can do it, anybody can do it, and you have to just be willing to stand on your laurels. That's all.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. So, Ryan, tell us about some of your best performances that you think, like the most exciting, the most memorable.
I have several that are a few that really stand out. I got to perform two of which were with, actually three of which were with Charlie Daniels before he passed, which was incredible, right here in town in Nashville. I performed on the Ryman Auditorium stage, opening up for Charlie and Phil Vassar and a couple other folks as well. I got to do the volunteer jam with Ted Nugent and Michael W. Smith. In between Ted Nugent and Michael W. Smith to a sold-out arena. That was my first arena that I ever performed in front of, that was sold out. And then I got to perform on the Grand Ole Opry stage on September 11th in 2015 when Charlie Daniels introduced me into the circle. So, and I mean, then I get to the PBR, and it's just so incredible because Steven Tyler from Aerosmith was the headliner for the World Finals in Las Vegas in T-Mobile Arena. And some guy named Ryan Weaver was the headliner in 2017. Nobody knew who I was, didn't have a song on the radio. And it was incredible to get in front of a sold-out arena there in Las Vegas. And my first show in 18 was Madison Square Garden. Got to sing the national anthem in front of Trump Jr., which was kind of cool on the Sunday after that performance. And AT&T Stadium in front of the largest crowd I ever performed in front of was over 41,000, which was incredible as well, because knowing what I've grinded through the bar scene, I've grinded through the club scene, I've grinded through the festival scene. I've never been able to get a record deal because I am a conservative artist, I believe, and they look at me as a military guy, a former military guy, before they look at me as an artist. But you can they call it a triple threat: singing, performing, writing your own stuff. The only thing that I don't play well is guitar and sing at the same time, but I move around on stage enough to not necessarily need a guitar on stage. And one of the best guitar players in town, Jeffrey Steele, and one of the most prolific songwriters in the Country Music Hall of Fame is Jeffrey Steele. And he said to me that George Strait, he's the king. And what's he do during the shows? He puts his hands on the top of his guitar and he just sings like butter, and he sells out arenas. He said, not saying that you're ever going to be George Strait, nor will I ever try to be George Strait because he is the king, but the possibilities are endless.
I love that. So you mentioned a ton of really, really awesome names in there. So tell me two things. One, who's your favorite conservative artist or musician, singer, songwriter, anything? And also, who's your favorite that you've worked with? Who's your favorite musician that you've worked with so far?
Charlie Daniels by far. I mean, there's just no. He was an incredible human being. He gave the best grandpa hugs. He was just like he loved. He was a hugger, and he always made me feel like I was a rock star. I mean, I will say that my second favorite conservative artist that's out there right now is Travis Tritt. He was vocal about his views, his conservative views as well. I've been a fan of his when I was going through flight school. I listened to his greatest hits album over and over and over again, and a great number of his songs are what I started singing competitions and karaoke competitions to get my career started too as well. So huge appreciation for both of those artists. And then as far as in the industry is concerned, Jeffrey Steele has been one of the most generous people I've worked with, and obviously he's a huge hit songwriter. Really has a strong conservative value and his songs are just incredible. But he gave me an opportunity when he heard about my backstory with my brothers being killed in action, and no one else in town was gonna look at an independent artist who's just coming to town and say, "Hey, come into my studio, let's record some stuff." And he realized that I could actually sing, so he gave me more opportunities after that as well.
I love it. So, what would you say to any young conservative artist? I keep saying conservative, and I really do mean that. But beyond that, I really mean just people who have patriotic values, who have just who just love America, who love God, who love family values. Doesn't have to necessarily mean politically conservative either. Just people who don't hate their country, who don't think it's great to parade around looking like Satan at the Grammys. Just normal people, really. And those kind of musicians, those kind of artists, what would you say to them? Because right now they kind of have two options. One, they go the Hollywood route and get blown up really big, or they can fight for their values and it's probably going to be a lot more tough. What would you say to them though? What encouragement can you give those artists and what advice do you have for them when they're starting out?
Well, when I first came into Nashville, I was given advice by a an entertainment attorney that used to be, I believe, the COO of Capitol Records, named Wayne Hopper. I did at what's called a George Jones University, which essentially is a networking seminar. You hand out your business card and pay to be there. But he gave me two pieces of invaluable advice that has stuck with me and that I've gone by ever since I went to that conference. And it's that the Nashville music industry is not about how much talent you have. It's about who you know and how much money you have, because it is a business. And if you don't have the money, the people that you know can open up doors for you, and the money always opens up doors for you in this town. But when it comes to artists that are trying to make it, that have conservative values, just stick to it. Everything ebbs and flows in every single industry, just like it does in life. Stick to your values. Don't sell yourself out. Don't sell yourself anything short of what you believe in. And write good music, write stuff that matters to you. Because the bottom line is, if you have to sing a song that you think sucks because you record it and you don't like it anymore, because it doesn't have the message that you want to portray. It doesn't portray you as an individual. They will put you through the mill in this town. Once you get to a certain level, they'll change you to what they want you to be, what they feel is most marketable and will make the most money. And I know that these are really hard things to hear. But the bottom line is, if you want to stay who you are, you can. If you want to sell yourself out and be something different, you can. But I think down the line, you're really going to regret doing that.
Absolutely. It's such a fight for these young artists too, and it's such a fight for those who are trying to support them as well. I found so many people just, I guess, want the easy route out. Just let's just listen to the left. It's okay. They have good music. We'll just listen to them anyway. And I don't necessarily think I'm encouraging anybody to stop listening to liberal artists or Democrat artists or whatever you want to call them. It's more the actual messaging, like you said. When you're singing about something you don't believe in anymore, it changes the musicality of it. It changes the feeling behind what's been written and what you're singing, what you're portraying. And it's really sad, honestly, seeing so many, especially the young artists, I think, in Hollywood who started out just singing stuff they probably really enjoyed and thought was fun. And now they're over here, standing up for Satan, basically. And it's very sad to see. It's sad to see the youth of America falling for it too. And so I think that advice of just sticking to your guns, sticking to what you believe in is just so, so, so valuable. And it's going to change you too, I believe, like you said, if you're no longer singing or performing the kind of music with the kind of messaging that you actually believe in, it's just not going to be the same. So I really think that's fantastic advice. How old were you when you started writing music? I'm just curious.
I was actually later in life. I started. I think the first song that I ever wrote, the first song I ever wrote in Nashville, was "Crank It," the music video that I put out that had nothing to do with patriotism. It was just a fun song that talked about fun things. It's a really cool tongue in cheek, but also the music video's got a shallow how concept of seeing the beauty inside somebody as opposed to superficial, the superficial parts of them. And if anybody hasn't watched the movie Shallow Hal, go watch it. It's actually got a great message. Jack Black, although he's an idiot in person, he did really well in portraying that message with Gwyneth Paltrow. But we tried to do something like that. And I mean, so later on in life, I started writing in Iraq, actually writing songs in Iraq because a fellow soldier brought his guitar and we started writing there. Didn't really write anything I felt was good enough. But when I started coming to town with experienced writers and getting in the rooms with experienced writers and learning about the songwriting process, and each writing session is always different when it comes to the songwriting process. But it became more important to me to perform songs live in my shows that weren't cover songs so that people could get to know who I was as an artist. Because downtown Nashville and Broadway, they have a set list that every artist has to know and every band, every musician has to know when they're playing all the bars. And it's, the tourist industry. And don't get me wrong, they're incredible and incredibly talented artists, the best of the best that you're going to find around the world that were the big fish in their little pond that moved to Nashville and become the little fish in the big pond. But cover songs are cool. I love doing cover songs in my live show, but there's nothing like being able to write or perform something live and see a music video of something that you actually sat down to write yourself. It's incredibly, incredibly rewarding.
That's fantastic. So Ryan, what's next for you in your music journey, just your time as a musician right now? What's next for you? Do you have any shows coming up? Any more music videos we should listen for?
Well, we just had an incredible Warrior Weekend down in Orlando. I headlined that concert with Bo Bice from American Idol opening up for me. It was pretty awesome. And another guy, incredible voice, Sean McComb, was the opener for him. But we were honoring our heroes, honoring our warriors, raising money for the Sub-Zero mission with the Warrior Shield Foundation. That was just an awesome weekend. And especially on September 11th, when we're recording this right now, got to hang out with John Tigan from one of the Benghazi heroes that's in my Burn music video. If you guys want to go watch that, one of the Benghazi survivors from that attack. And also the Let's Roll mom, she was hanging out with us. Her son was the one that said, "Let's roll" on the airplane that crashed in the Pennsylvania field. And, we just got to, have amazing fellowship over the weekend. I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to continue honoring our heroes. This year, we have a couple concerts still in the works. Still trying to make something happen for Veterans Day weekend with a venue down in Florida. New music videos and new singles coming out. I just recorded a song with Craig Campbell, who's a great artist here in town. You guys might know him from the, I believe, 90s and 2000s, with several songs in the top 40. Wrote a pretty awesome patriotic song that essentially is about going back to when you were a child, when you were innocent and you loved everything about this world and everybody stood together. It's a great message song, but it's also a very traditional sounding country song, which is unlike most of the stuff that I do. So I'm excited to get that together. We're trying to get the music video funded. That's always a big deal as an independent artist, trying to get music videos funded, trying to get recordings funded. And this year has been really tough because of the economy. Shows have been few and far between, which is completely abnormal, seeing that I just released What You Think of Me at the beginning of the year. Normally my shows are stacked on top of each other and motivational speaking engagements, but little travel coming up here starting tomorrow. Going to be in Europe for about a month, doing some travel for work and pleasure, but going to be back in October, and hopefully we'll be able to get things rolling for the end of the year and preparing for 2025.
That's so exciting, Ryan. So where can people find you and where can they support you as well?
RyanWeaver.net is the place to find me. And my Facebook page, my artist Facebook page with 70,000 followers, just got hacked somehow. So my personal page is out there if you look up Ryan Weaver without the blue check mark. Otherwise, I don't sell Bitcoin and I don't message strange women that I don't know. And that's what's happening on my artist page now. But if you're on Instagram, my primary page is Ryan Weaver Country, blue check mark there. I run my own social media pages. If you message that page, it's me responding to you. I don't have somebody else doing it. So RyanWeaver.net will get you to all my music videos, all my merchandise, all my newest single releases, all my music videos, you name it, anything and everything. My name, Ryan Weaver. I hate to say my name in third person, but anything Ryan Weaver is at my website, but you can also, and you can connect through email there, or just message me on Instagram and I'll respond back to you immediately.
Perfect. This was such a great discussion. Thank you so much for coming on, Ryan. Great to see you.
You rock too. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into this. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Ryan. He's just an amazing musician, an amazing person, an amazing artist. I'm so happy he could join us today. So like he said, go follow him on all those platforms right now. Make sure you subscribe to him on YouTube. I think he might be in Rumble, I'm not sure, but make sure wherever he is on that site, you go subscribe right now, go follow, go like his stuff, go support another conservative artist. It is so important that we support these people who are standing up for our values and standing up for this beautiful country of ours. So with that said, please also go follow me on classically_Chloe on Instagram. I'll also come up on basically any other platform under Classically Chloe. And also follow this podcast, like, subscribe, share, wherever you listen to your podcast. Please do. Keep up with us and can't wait to see you next week. God bless.